Welcome back to the Nacho Kids Podcast.
What's up, folks?
All right, a few announcements. David has a shirt on that says warning insufficient memory.
And that's an announcement?
Yes.
It's not an announcement.
It is an announcement.
Okay.
Because that just shows you his state of mind right now.
It is. And it's not a lack of memory in that I can't remember anything. It's like a lack of memory in that I have way too much going on.
Yes.
And I am out of random access memory.
Just remember you love me and we're okay.
Well, that's hard-coded.
Okay. Second thing, the Nacho book is finally coming out. The plan is to release it September the 16th, which is Step Family Day.
Oh.
There will be more information to come with the landing page and all that happy stuff. Okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm tired. Okay. We're just going to grab some questions that I saw in the Facebook group.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not going to read all the details, but I'll get the gist of it. All right. How do you deal with the cost of college for your kids and stepkids?
Military.
Well, your kids did go into the military.
Mm-hmm.
My son didn't.
So I guess let's back up a little bit because we do have a worldwide audience.
Okay.
In the United States, if you go to the military, then you get what's called the GI Bill. And so kids can tap into that over a period of time. It does expire, but anyway, they get basically money that they can go and further their education with if they join the military. That's it in a nutshell. So if you hear somebody from the States say going into the military helps them pay for college, that's part of the reason for that.
Okay. So 3 of your kids went into the military.
Mm-hmm.
And actually 2 of them now, they've been out for a couple years, are starting to go back to school.
Yes.
Which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never thought these kids would go back to school. They didn't either.
No.
Ironically. Now, my son, he didn't go into the military, but we also didn't have to pay for his college.
Right.
Because he got scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had thought about this before your kids moved out.
About sending him to the military?
No. About if your kids did go to college or if Jackson didn't get scholarships, what were we going to do?
I mean, honestly, for me, way before Jackson was even a thought.
So when it was just your own kids.
Right. It's like, how am I going to do this? Because I can't, literally all 4 of them would have been in college at the same time. Chances are I would not have been able to afford that. It would have been just not possible. So there was always that thought of how are we going to navigate this? Because just doing traditional funding or borrowing is not going to do it. And I'm not going into 4 lifetimes of debt so that people can go to college. So that was always a question and a concern before you and Jackson came into the picture.
Now, I had to pay for my own college.
Me too.
I kind of messed up because I graduated early, and so I didn't get all the scholarship application opportunities and all that. But I had to pay for myself, buy my books, everything.
So little known fact, I had a music scholarship and I didn't want to major in music, so I didn't take it.
Well,
most people are like, what? Music scholarship?
I knew that. And what did you play music-wise, David?
I played the trombone.
That's the one with the
slide. Yeah. The wah, wah, wah. Yep. I was quite good at it back in the day.
We'll have to get you one to see how you can do.
No.
But if we would say Jackson didn't get scholarships, and we know that asking his dad to help pay for that wouldn't have been an option. If you didn't pay for your kids to go to college, how would you have felt if I would have came to you and said, David, I want to pay for Jackson to go to college?
I think there would have been, I mean, we'd had to sit down and talk about it because in one aspect, if I'm saying I can't afford to send my 4 to college, but I can afford to send your 1,
Right.
that would be hard to swallow.
But okay, but look at it this way.
Mhm.
Yours didn't wanna go to college.
Right.
So, reality-wise, yours didn't wanna go to college.
Mhm.
3 of them chose the military.
Mhm.
But here comes Jackson 5 years later,
Right.
and he does really good in school, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah, and he wants to go.
and he wants to go.
Mhm.
Would you have considered it?
Yeah, I would have considered it. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if I would have had to tell my kids, "You can't go to college because I can't afford it," or "You have to go to the military to pay for college," and that's not why they went to the military. Basically, they didn't go to the military because I said, "If you don't go, you can't go to college." They went because they didn't have any next step. It was like, you can go to college, you can go into the job force with your high school diploma, or you can go into the military.
Mhm.
And 3 of them was like, military sounds pretty good.
Yep.
I get to travel the world.
Which is understandable if you would have told your kids, "No, I can't afford it,"
Right. And then
because we
done
were
it for
still
you.
been together then.
Yes.
Then with Jackson, you'd be like, "Oh, well, I pay for Jackson's," or whatever. Yes, that would cause a major upset.
I think part of me, and of course I wasn't put in this position, so I'm trying to answer this on the fly. But part of me would have said, how would you have done this without me? In other words, if I flip the script and I say, now my 4 want to go, like I wouldn't expect you to pay for my 4, but I would expect that me and the ex are going to have to figure that out.
Right.
That's what I would expect.
Right.
And so I would say the same thing to you. Like, what are you and his dad going to do to figure this out?
Which translates to, what are you going to do to figure it out? Because
Yeah.
we know the other wasn't an option.
Yeah. So, but we would have to navigate that. I mean, there's no doubt. And you and I, it's we talk about this all the time. Our money is together, has always been together.
Then give me some money.
So, for that reason, we're forced to have these conversations because
Right.
it's not your money, my money, and of course, if we were separate, I could just say, well, that's your money. You do what you want to with it.
Right.
If you want to send him to school, send him to school.
Right.
But we haven't just never done it that way.
So we were lucky that your kids didn't want to go to college
I guess so.
and that Jackson got a scholarship, because we didn't have to deal with that.
Right.
Because I can see you saying, "Well, my kids went into the military because,"
Do I talk like that?
yeah, "my kids went into the military because, they didn't want to go to college, or I couldn't afford to send them all to college, and they knew that. And now Jackson's wanting to go to college, and you're wanting to help pay for him to go."
Mhm.
And if you'd just been like, "I just don't think that's right,"
Mhm.
then I'd be like, "Well, I think we need to talk about maybe dividing finances then." Because if I can't tap into our money to help pay for my son's college, then
Mhm.
I need to be able to have my own money.
Right. And that would have been a reasonable ask.
Right. A lot of times people have saved money
Mhm.
for their kid to go to college, or even grandparents have left money for the kids to go to college, almost like an inheritance, right?
Right.
So say I had $100,000 saved for Jackson to go to college.
About choked me up there.
And your thought process is, "Oh no, we have 5 kids now. So each one gets $20,000 to
Mhm.
go towards college."
If you save that money up, or
If
we
if
save that
if
money up.
I brought that money in
Okay.
to our relationship,
I wouldn't look at it that way.
but a lot of people do,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what it was earmarked for in the beginning.
Okay.
It's, we're together now. Our finances are together.
Mhm.
So here's $100,000 that was earmarked for Jackson's college, and some step parents, bio parents, whatever, would say, "Well, that needs to be split between all of our kids because that's not fair. It's not fair Jackson has the opportunity and my kids wouldn't."
So, well, a couple things. One is hopefully there people are having these conversations way before necessary.
I doubt it. In
So,
fact, I know they're not. Or
wait,
it changes, right?
well, I can see when it changes, but if you think at some point my child's going to go to college or may want to go to college, honestly, even if they don't, I don't know, let's say they're 10 years old, it's not too soon to say if little Johnny wants to go to college when he's 18, we need to figure out how we're going to navigate that.
Right.
That
And
gives
they
you
have pre-tax savings plans where you can do some stuff like
right.
that.
So, but that gives you 8 years to figure that out.
Mhm.
If you come up when he's 17 and a half and says, little John wants to go to college in 6 months, we need to figure that out. That's a very different conversation because now you're under the time pressure, financial pressure, all of that. It's not a good place to be. Now, for me, I think, given your scenario, if you're coming into the relationship and you're like, "Hey, I'm bringing $100,000 that I earmarked for Jackson's college, but because we have our monies together, I want to put it all together." For me, it would be the same way I actually treated your child support. Like, this is not for us.
Right.
This is not us money. That's for something else. I don't care if it's earmarked for college, earmarked for
Shoes.
parents, taking care of elderly parents. I mean, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you were saving that money for something and you earmarked it for that, I don't consider that money you're bringing into the relationship.
Right.
And so keep it separate. And then you're saying the monies that I make, my payroll and all that from week to week or month to month or whatever, that is our money.
Right.
That's the way I would see it as being appropriate.
Right. I agree. But it's easy for me to agree because we didn't have to deal with it. Okay, say the roles were reversed and you had each of your kids set up with whatever that pre-tax thing is for college and they each had $50,000 in there.
Mm-hmm.
And here I come with Jackson and I don't have nothing.
Poor Jackson.
See? See?
I'm sorry your mama can't plan right.
That hits different, right? It's, oh, you're not going to help me help my kid. Your kids had this advantage. My son doesn't. Why won't you help me help him?
I didn't say I wouldn't.
Right.
I said, too bad for Jackson.
But in reality, I think that we would have sat down and worked out something because,
We'd have figured something out.
right,
I mean, it's not as cut and dry as this is not my problem because
he's not your kid.
not my kid and you didn't save up for it. And I'm also not, again, I'm not, it's a time, there's a big thing about time.
Mhm.
If you and I were to get together and he was 17, we met when he was 17 and then he's going to college at 18 and now we're having this conversation. That's very different than we met when he was 3.
Right. But you should have this conversation when they're 3.
Yeah.
You really should. And
Yes.
understand things change and everything's not written in permanent marker. So we could have said when Jackson was 3, okay, if the kids want to go to college and their college material, we'll say, then we will pay X amount towards their college.
Yeah. The thing about a lot of this, the best way I can put it is that many of the challenges you're going to run into in the step families, and this is beyond step families, but I'm going to use it in this context, is that the answer is a fact specific determination. Meaning, as the facts change, as they're different from situation to situation, the answer has to be different from situation to situation.
Right. And that kind of reminds me of we see people that, oh, say my dad left me an inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the partners, when I see this, it's like my parent left me an inheritance, and you're looking at it like, woohoo, 50% of it's yours,
Windfall profit.
right?
Yeah. Well, no, not really, but
But that's
yeah.
how it's viewed.
I mean, I think I have a different outlook on a lot of that stuff than most people.
Right. But a lot of people, like you said, would look at it and be like, yeah, we're married
Yeah.
50-50.
What's yours is mine, what's mine is mine.
Right. That's not right. And I say that even if it wasn't the case, like, with the Jackson stuff, it was like, oh no, you're gonna leave my baby out. It's that was left to you.
Right. Yeah, I mean, your
It
dad, if he passed away, I'm just using him as an example. If he passed
Daddy
away
don't die.
and he left you whatever, or your mom, she passed, left you whatever,
Mhm.
whatever sum of money, insurance, whatever. Like, I don't consider, I wasn't in the wheel. Like, she didn't say, let's leave David something.
Yeah, it wasn't Lori and David.
Right.
It was Lori.
I mean, she left me you.
Yeah.
So I didn't consider any of that. Like, there's no conversation to me. It's not mine.
Right.
What you got,
Now, if I wanted to say, David, I got X amount of dollars, I want to share it with you.
that's completely up to you.
That's
But there is
yes.
no
Yes.
expectation on my side
Yes.
that happens. None.
Mhm.
And if my parents pass and there's anything, I don't expect that you would feel like it's some windfall profit for your side.
Right.
And quite frankly, I've told my parents to make sure they blow every bit of it.
I'm gonna talk to Paw
I'm like,
and say, make sure that you put my real legal name in your paperwork, Paw.
I told my parents that the only thing I want is for you not to leave me a mess. That's it. That is it.
Yep.
I don't want my parents to pass having worked hard to give their money to somebody else, whether it's me or my sister or grandkids or whatever. Like, enjoy your life
Right.
with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my
And
2 cents.
I think that this whole people leaving people inheritances and stuff, it started way back in the day. People inherited land
Mm-hmm.
and money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now everybody broke. Very few people leave inheritances, true inheritances, to family members.
Well, what they often get is not necessarily the inheritance. They get life insurance.
Right. But like my mom chose that the proceeds from the sale of her house when she died
Mm-hmm.
went to my niece and nephew,
Right.
which is wrong. I'm gonna tell you. Not because I wanted anything, but because I had to do everything. I had to get the house cleaned out. I had to deal with all that. And they just footloose and fancy free and,
Yeah.
enjoying their money.
There is something that I've noticed, and I'm not going to say it's.
Is that a wrong way to say it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think what happens is you get, because you're skipping a generation, which really was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen this in a lot of cases, really, where, I mean, even my parents were talking about, like, oh, give such and such to the grandkids. I'm like, do what? It's not that I care that they're getting something. It's that they're not old enough to be getting what you're trying to give.
Right. And it can be put into a trust. But we learned the hard way with my mom too, that that can be a mess.
Yeah.
That can
So
be a mess.
anyway, I know this is kind of getting off track.
Yep. We do that a lot.
Yeah, we do. But it's because we have so much life experience.
We're old.
But the main thing is, when it comes to finances, whether it's college or other things,
Car insurance, buying a car.
people oftentimes hate having these conversations. I know people that will literally break out in hives if they have a conversation about money.
My mama used to when she'd go shopping, she'd break out in hives.
It
If it was buying stuff from me.
it is honestly probably one of the most stressful conversations that you can have for many people.
Mhm.
They hate it, hate talking about it, hate thinking about it. But it's absolutely necessary. If you can't navigate this part of your relationship, it's going to be difficult, if not impossible, for your relationship to thrive.
Yeah.
So,
And if you are struggling with it, get a mediator.
yep.
You can hire a mediator and not be going to court and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or
Or just go to,
a counselor.
I would say it needs to be somebody who's a financial counselor
Right.
that has also,
Financial advisor.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is, we haven't really uh, dove into this much, but like a financial counselor that understands blended families, just because everything in a blended family is so different.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got things that we're still navigating with things like wills and trust and such. Like who gets what? Because in my situation, Jackson, my stepson, has actually lived with me longer than my own kids.
Yeah. Because he's
So,
here all the time.
well, not just that, but he's 21. My kids moved out when they're 18.
Mhm.
So, actually, this year would be the equal amount of time, years wise, not actual time.
Right.
So, does he deserve, quote unquote, deserve any inheritance or whatever may come from me? Those are questions we have to figure out.
Well,
If so, what does it look like?
and we've talked about this before too. Like my money has contributed to the house.
Right. And it's
So,
those are things we got to figure out because it's not like, again, the whole time factor. It's not like you and I have only been together 3 years.
right.
We've been together for 45 years.
Feels like it.
Yeah. So those are things that we have to figure out.
Mhm.
We have to navigate that. What looks reasonable and appropriate.
And one thing I want to say about that, and I know again we started on one subject and ended on another, is you could easily say, "Well, I'm not going to leave Jackson anything because his dad is,"
Yeah, I could say that.
but that's irrelevant.
Hmm.
What his dad does or does not leave him has nothing to do with what I'm able to leave him,
Right.
or we'll say us.
Hmm.
But it's more of still, you're my parent, right?
Yeah. Again, not easy to navigate
Yep.
because, I look at it from my kids' perspective. They're like, this is our dad. This is our childhood home, all this other stuff. We should get all that stuff.
Hmm. They ain't getting a dime.
I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like. Um, I know the way it's structured now, but the way it's structured now, I don't think it doesn't incorporate you and Jackson the way it should.
I think it incorporates me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but not after that. Because so here's the thing, and this is what Lori and I talked about. Like if I die, let's just say she gets everything. If she dies, I get everything, right? I get all your debts.
Get all my
Uh,
blue bog
I
shoes.
get your boots. So, but here's the question. Let's just play it out in a scenario. If I died, all my assets go to Lori,
Right.
which I think should. Now, what happens though if she dies and all her assets now go to Jackson?
Then your kids are
My kids get zero,
crap out of luck.
zero of anything.
Right.
Now, how does?
No, and this is something that we're going to have to look into. And we know some estate people, um, whatever you call them, estate attorneys.
Yeah.
Uh, can it be put in your will that everything goes to me, but then when I die, something happens? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But then that's you controlling me and my will. So
Right.
it's like,
Again, a lot to navigate.
yeah, yeah.
We've got to sit down because basically
You better hurry up.
we've got three scenarios, right? And you do too, if you're listening, probably. It's like if I die first, if she dies first, if we die together.
Yep.
All three of those we have to figure out how that's going to be handled.
Hmm.
Anyway, so
That's on our list.
we started with finances for college and ended with death.
Yep.
It's about as good as you can get.
But it's the same. You know, it's still something that needs to be discussed.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be something that you're both comfortable with. Because if David told me, you know, when I die, I'm leaving my kids everything, you'll have to go find somewhere to live, we're gonna have a bad relationship. You know, that's like the nail in the coffin.
Well,
kind of
here's what some people will do though is they won't tell anybody anything. They're like, I'll be dead and gone, so I don't care.
I know somebody that's doing that, and I tell you what, when these people die, oh, you know what, gonna bust out.
Again, that's why I asked my parents, don't leave me a mess.
Yep.
That's what I mean.
And I think that, like your parents talking about leaving your kids stuff,
Mhm.
um, I think that they do that because they look at you, like my mom leaving stuff to my niece and
Yeah.
nephew,
You don't need
as we're
anything.
already established.
Yeah.
We don't need anything.
Right.
So they're trying to help them.
Yeah.
But like you said, my niece didn't need to get that money then.
Mm-mm.
My nephew did really good with his,
Yep.
but
But
it's
if your mom had known what was gonna happen, and I think to some degree she should had,
mhm,
um, if you really wanna help somebody with that, then you find another way to do it.
yep.
And
And
I know people who give things while they're alive. Like, I wanna give you this property or this money, I'm gonna give it to you
mhm,
while I'm alive so I can make sure you don't screw it up.
and I would suggest if it's possible, if you have a trust, that you don't put a family member over that trust, if
Yeah,
possible. I don't even know if it's possible, but, like, I was over the trust for my niece and nephew.
it creates a lot of
It
problems.
created a lot of problems. So, there's gotta be a better way. But, anyway, all that to say, prepare for this stuff now.
Mhm.
I don't care if your baby's just a baby. If you pregnant, if you thinking about getting pregnant and you got stepkids and you pregnant with an hours kid, talk about this stuff now. Talk about the car. You know, if David would have said, "Okay, I'm gonna give each of my kids $10,000 to go buy a car, their first car," well, that's $40,000. Well, my kid only gets 10. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Hmm. You
yeah.
know, it's all in how you look at it, right? It's not that, okay, we're going to take $50,000 for cars and split it up. I get 25 and you get 25 because that's not fair.
No.
So,
Well, to me, you gotta take the word fair off the table.
yep.
You gotta
And
look
we've
at
talked about this before.
what's reasonable.
Yep.
Um, reasonable and appropriate. Like, those
Well,
are your legal
yep.
terms right there. Um, the other thing about these discussions, and maybe we'll do a whole podcast on how to have some of these conversations, but you definitely there's rules around this stuff. You don't wait till the night before something and have a conversation. You don't wait
Until after you buy the
and
car and then have the
yeah,
conversation.
and you don't ambush somebody with it. Like, oh, by the way, we need to talk about blah blah blah. Like, there's rules around making this conversation go better.
Hmm.
So again, we may talk about that another time, but if you ambush somebody with these types of conversations, it probably is not going to go well. And then you're going to say, "Oh, I try to talk to him about finances. Every time I do, it goes." Yeah, because you got to set the stage for
Right.
these conversations.
Now, I haven't looked at the comments to that post,
Okay.
but I can guarantee you, with it being a nacho group, it's he needs to pay for his own kid and you pay for yours.
May very well be.
Do you want me to look? We'll look real fast, real quick, like. All right. First one, I'll be paying for my own kids. He can pay for his. Somebody said, don't co-sign loans
Well, I agree with that one. Don't
for
co-sign
kids,
loans.
for your kids,
Don't
or
co-sign
step
loan for
kids.
anybody.
Somebody said, I wouldn't co-sign a loan for someone else's kid, not even my spouse's kid.
Mm-mm. I only do it for my own kid.
Poor preparation on their part doesn't mean that you now pick up their slack.
Mm-hmm.
That's da 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 da. What about their dad?
Yep.
So what about the other bio parent?
Right. Right. We brought all those up.
Um, I have no idea how my husband's kids pay for college. My kids have a college fund I put money into.
Yeah. She says she puts money into it, not they put money into
Right.
it.
One says I only pay for my kids. Up to him what he does with his.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's another thing, and we don't want to get into a rabbit trail or whatever with this. Jackson, when in the United States, when kids apply for college, they have to fill out the FAFSA or FAFSA, whatever it's called.
Yeah. Financial aid, something.
Yeah. Well, we had to include your income
Mm-hmm.
because Jackson lives here.
Yep.
not his dad's.
Which is crazy.
Right. So,
And I could have said, you ain't giving them my income information.
which, in my opinion, it shouldn't have anything to do with your income.
No.
He's not your kid.
No.
You have no legal ties to that kid. So why is your income tied to
Because
what he gets in college?
because the system does not know about
They don't know how to
how to
handle it.
deal with step families.
Right. No, if they don't pay for it, they own their own. Hard no for me. No is a complete sentence. So
Yeah.
I didn't see one that says y'all are a team.
Well, yeah.
know,
Well,
we are a team, but you have to do what you said, like you said, what's
reasonable and appropriate.
and appropriate.
And here's the thing too, specifically about college. Two things. One, you don't have to go to college immediately after high school. I understand it's harder, and if you don't go, you don't have to. You can go to college years like my mom didn't go to college until I was probably in my teenage years.
My mom went to college out of high school, but then she turned around and went back to college when I was in college. We in the same classes.
So, it's not that you have to do it then. There's also tons and tons more opportunity to learn things now than there was back when you and I were growing up.
Right.
Like you could literally get a knowledge degree. I say that meaning you're not going to a college getting a certificate, but you can get more education on YouTube than you can through most colleges.
Right. But depending on where you're going to work, the weight of a
of course
can and can
obviously if you're going to be a surgeon, you know, doing it through YouTube videos is probably not good. If you're doing stuff in a lot of other fields, sales, technology, a lot of that, honestly, colleges can't keep up with how fast that changes. AI, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other ways that you can do that. All that said,
and look, it's also okay if you can't afford to send your kid to college.
Yeah.
You're not a bad parent.
No, my parents didn't send me.
No.
They couldn't afford it. I paid my own way.
Yep. But I tell you something, my daddy's right. You pay for it yourself, you appreciate it more. And you're going to be getting better grades too.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be careful with that $95 book that you had to buy for accounting.
Probably more than that now.
Oh, yeah. Probably $200.
I still partied my way through school, so.
Oh, my goodness. Not me. All right, folks. Before we start talking about something else.
All right. Thanks for watching. Join us again or listening. Join us again next week. And remember, life is good
When you nacho.